Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful moment of choice, a leader's final speech that has been studied for thousands of years. We're talking about the last chapter of the book of Joshua.
So let's get right into it. It's a question every single organization, every movement, really every family faces eventually. How do you make sure the mission, the values, the legacy continues after the founding leader is gone? This is the exact problem an old Joshua's up against, and his solution is, well, it's pretty incredible. So, our story is all about Joshua. He's done it. He's led the people of Israel into the promised land. The battles are over. The land is theirs. But now, as his life is coming to an end, he's got one last and maybe most important job to do. Make sure the people don't lose their way now that the big fight is over.
Now, where Joshua decides to have this big meeting, it's so important. He gathers all the tribes at a place called Shechem. And according to the lesson, this spot was definitely not picked at random. The very ground they are standing on is soaked in their own history. This is where God first promised this land to their ancestor Abraham. It's also where their ancestor Jacob told his family to get rid of their foreign gods. It's like he's using the very ground beneath their feet to remind them who they are.
So the people are finally settled. You'd think that's a good thing, right? But there's a hidden danger. They're not a wandering tribe anymore, united by a common enemy. The real threat now is just blending in. The lesson points out that the danger of forgetting their story and just adopting the culture and the gods of the people around them is huge. Their entire purpose is hanging in the balance.
So what's Joshua's move here? Honestly, it's a total masterclass in leadership. Before he asks them to make a choice about their future, he makes them look back at their past. He doesn't start with an order. He starts with a story, their story. And this history lesson is the foundation for everything he's about to say.
He walks them through their history, hitting these key moments you see here. He's reminding them of where they came from, with Abraham, how they were freed from slavery in Egypt with Moses and Aaron, that incredible journey through the desert, and finally, their arrival right here in this land. He's framing their whole existence not as a list of their own accomplishments, but as one divine rescue after another.
And you start to notice something, right? A pattern. Listen to this. I took, I gave, I sent. According to the lesson, the main character in Israel's story, it's not them. It's the God who created them, protected them, and brought them here. Their whole national identity is a gift, not something they earned.
And this, right here, is where it gets really brilliant. He brilliantly connects that history to the people standing right in front of him. He tells them this covenant wasn't just for their grandparents, it was for them. By doing this, he's not just giving them a history lesson, he's making them characters in the story. And that makes them responsible for the next chapter.
Okay, so this all leads up to the big moment, the climax. After laying all that groundwork, after reminding them of who they are and how they got here, he hits them with a clear, life-defining decision that they absolutely cannot avoid. He just comes right out with it. This isn't a friendly suggestion. It's a call to action. It's a demand for total loyalty and a complete rejection of anything else that could water down who they are. He tells them to actively put away the foreign gods, which, the lesson points out we're still kind of hanging around in secret.
And this line, this is the one everybody remembers. It's such a powerful ultimatum. Notice he says, this day, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And then, wow, he makes it personal. He doesn't just order them around, he leads by example. He draws a line in the sand and says, whatever you do, here's where I stand.
But to really get what he's asking, we got to dig into a couple of key words here. When Joshua says serve in sincerity and truth, he means more than just showing up. The lesson explains that the word for sincerity, tamim, is the same word used for a perfect sacrificial animal, whole, complete, undivided. And truth, or emet, means stable, faithful, trustworthy. So he's asking for an inner commitment that's as rock solid as the faithfulness God has shown them.
So after this epic speech, you'd expect a big celebration, right? And the people's response seems perfect, at first. But what Joshua does next is, well, it's a total curveball. It's unexpected and it creates this really dramatic turn in the story.
They jump right in, totally unanimous. No way are we going to forsake the Lord. He's our God. They get it. They see the truth in what Joshua said, and they're ready to commit. I mean, it's the A+ answer every leader wants to hear.
And then, bam, total reversal. The people say, we will, and Joshua hits them back with, no, you can't. Why on earth would he do that? He's basically playing devil's advocate. According to the lesson, he's not trying to crush their spirits. He's forcing them to pause and really truly understand the massive weight of the promise they're so quick to make.
His whole learning route here is designed to make them realize a few things. 1. This is serious business with serious consequences. 2. This has to be their choice, freely made, not just because he told them to. And 3, and this is the big one, he wants them to know they can't do this on their own strength. It's going to take more than just good intention.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the story. And the book doesn't wrap up with a big, happy celebration. Instead, we get a series of burials, which sounds kind of grim, but it's actually really meaningful, looking back at a life well lived and forward to a future that's, well, not so certain.
This isn't just a sad note to end on. It's deeply symbolic. So we have the burials of Joshua, the great leader, Eleazar, the high priest, and finally, the bones of their ancestor Joseph, which they'd been carrying all the way from Egypt. It's a symbol that the journey is finally, truly over. The promises have been kept. They are home.
And this is where the lesson gets really real. The text says that the generation that lived with Joshua, they were faithful. So his leadership worked. But, and it's a huge but, that faithfulness doesn't just automatically get passed down. It's like just because the parents were faithful doesn't mean the kids automatically will be. A legacy isn't something you inherit like a house. You have to choose it for yourself.
And all of this boils down to this single number you see on the screen. 1. Just 1, because that's all it takes. 1 generation.
And this quote, it just yanks this ancient story right into our world today. The principle is exactly the same. Whether it's a religion, a company culture, or a nation's ideals, it's always just one generation away from being lost. Purpose and identity have to be rechosen actively by every single new generation.
So, in the end, that challenge Joshua threw down thousands of years ago is still hanging in the air. His question becomes our question. Choose for yourselves this day. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What choices am I making right now? And what kind of legacy are those choices going to leave behind for that one crucial generation that comes next?